Let's begin, though, with vaccines, the top priority right now after numerous vaccine candidates reported promising results. Although Canada has purchased millions of doses, it's not clear when they will be available to the public. This week, the Ontario government appointed retired General Rick Hillier to lead the province's vaccine distribution efforts. General Hillier joins us here in Ottawa. Hi, General Hillier. Nice to see you. Thanks very much for making time.
Vashi, it's my pleasure.
I wanted to start off by asking you, I think what a lot of Canadians are thinking about right now is we see news come in that the vaccine will be ready to roll out in some capacity in the US, in the UK, Germany, France in December, without any clear indication of when exactly it will start to roll out here in Canada. Are you worried by that? And when do you expect to be able to tell Ontarians something specific?
Well, Vashi, first of all, I think that's a great thing that we hear all that news, and it truly is. I mean, just think 2, 3, 4 weeks ago, we were saying if there appears to be a vaccine for COVID-19 to work against it, and now we're really are close to saying, yeah, we're going to have a vaccine and we're going to have it very soon. No, we don't know the dates yet, and I'm confident that Canada will get its share, and out of that, Ontario will get its share. I don't have the information on when it's come. We're tied very closely, without question, from this country and the province of Ontario into the major drug companies with which we've been dealing, and that information and intelligence will come to us. We'll get the vaccines, and I'm sure that we'll get them as quickly as possible. I don't have those dates yet, but my job is not to get that date. My job is to be ready when they do arrive.
So tell me what happens when they do arrive, or what is involved in your job insofar as figuring out how that works once they do arrive?
Well, Vashi, what's involved in my job so far as figuring out what my job is very true. I've been on the road for this last 2 days. I've had one briefing that's just helped educate me as to the work that's been done and some of the things that have been laid out that we really got to do. And what we want to do is build a task force to help ensure that Ontario is ready when those first vaccines show up. And I use a little analogy of when we were building the house and some boards to do our floor were late. And when they arrived, the contractor said, no, I don't want to see those touch the ground. I want them to go from one truck right into my truck, and we're going to right into the house, and we're going to do it because they're late. And we want to do the same with the vaccine. When it arrives, we don't want it sitting on shelves. We don't want it touching the ground. We want it to go directly from the delivery to the delivery point to the medical professionals who need it so they can administer it to the prioritized patients across Ontario, and we can start the great recovery. So number one is making sure that we can do that. Number two, of course, is helping ensure that our incredible medical professionals, and they are incredible, and if you didn't think that before this year, you certainly should be thinking it now, that they're ready to go, they understand the vaccine, and they have all the necessary education and equipments to administer that, in the professional manner that they do. And then thirdly, of course, we want to ensure that prioritized list is ready, and that's not going to be my decision to make. Certainly, we just want to ensure that we're going to implement that list in according to priority. We want to be able to track it on the IT side. And lastly, part of our job is going to be to educate the people of Ontario and let them know exactly what we're doing, be completely transparent with them, and let them know what this vaccine is coming into Ontario, what locations it'll be at, when they should go, and when, in fact, they should stay away. And all 5 of those sort of mission lines are crucial to the success of this vaccination program and to cornering COVID-19 and maybe getting back to something that we'd all recognize as a bit of a normal world.
I'm glad you brought up that last point around transparency. And given that you've only had one briefing, I offer that caveat. What is your anticipation about being able to, will there be a continual process of informing people in Ontario how this is going to work, how you plan on implementing what you're talking about, that education campaign? And I ask just because transparency is a big issue around the virus as a whole and sort of the actions governments are taking. So what is your commitment to that?
Commitment is continuous transparency and continue updating and continually educating the people of Ontario about what we are doing, where we are with the vaccines, and where they fit into it. As much information as we have, it would be absolutely my determination to make sure that we pass that out in every single manner we can so that people are aware. And what you don't want is misinformation, or as some famous person once called it, fake news out there, because all you have to do is jump on the social media and you see there are all kinds of things out there. We want to be able to refute that. So our commitment is to make sure that we are as transparent as is humanly possible The people of Ontario will know everything that we know as almost as soon as we know it, or as soon as we know it, or as soon as we can pass that information to them, so they then can make their decisions based on knowledge, not guesstimate.
Are you worried about, I guess, not just misinformation, but we've seen a lot of polling in recent months that shows there is some skepticism around vaccines in general. Are you worried about that, A? And B, I don't know if this is a federal government thing or it might be a provincial government thing, but is that something that you'll address through perhaps an awareness campaign? Are there talks around that at all?
Well, you're saying you will address as in me. I'm not the individual person here.
Yeah, not you specifically, the task force at large, the provincial government. What's your sense?
Not just the task large, the provincial government, and in fact, the entire health system in the great province of Ontario has to address this. I understand that people are sometimes a little concerned, a little worried about injecting things into their body, but we do it routinely because we know that the slim probability of things going wrong is far outweighed by the incredible benefits you get. And whether that's a flu vaccine or a shingles vaccine, all of which I've taken myself, or whether that's the COVID-19 vaccine, the slim possibilities of something not being perfect are far outweighed by the incredible advantages that you will get and the ability to return to a life, like I say, that's as close to the normal life that we had prior to the pandemic. So yeah, we just want to counter it with education, with what the vaccine is, what it does to your body, and let people decide themselves. But I think like the vast majority of people are going to decide that the benefits are so incredible, the risks are so negligible, that they will want to get that vaccine and will want to get back to a normal lifestyle. And it's not about convincing them. It's about educating them and let them make an educated decision themselves. And I think once you do that, people make the decisions that we expect. They will want to get vaccinated.
General, one final question before I let you go. And I know that you said that your job is to, in the task force job will be to implement things once the vaccine arrives. Are you at all worried, though, about the vaccine coming later than other jurisdictions? Like, is that something on your radar?
Well, Vashi, I'm worried about everything. Well, we're going to have an awesome team of people in place, and we're going to be ready when that vaccine show up. We know that drug companies, with which Canada and therefore Ontario have contracts to purchase vaccines, are working at utmost speed with the maximum number of professionals to produce those vaccines as fast as they can and deliver them to us. And so, we go by that. And when we can get the vaccine, which is not my mandate, by the way, but when we get that vaccine, we're going to be ready to make sure we get it distributed and get it into the hands of the medical professionals and get it injected into the people who want to have it to get back to that normal life that I mentioned. And I'm hopeful, but we do have the temporary expectations. And so what I would simply say is this: I'm hopeful that will be very, very quick. But the vaccine by itself will not solve COVID-19 or make it go away completely. And we still, in the shorter term, in the middle term, in the next months, in other words, we still have to wear our masks. We still have to stay away from each other. Stay away from me. Stay away from everybody else. Stay at home unless you need to go out and wash your hands. And we do need to get a vaccine as the part 2. And we do need, of course, to get a bunch of work done on testing so we have much more availability to it and the results are much quicker to us. I think with all those three things in place, we're going to get back to a normal life. The vaccine is crucial to that. And my commitment is to make sure that we handle it as expeditiously as possible for the people of Ontario.
All right, I'll leave it there. General Hillier, thanks so much for your time, as always.
Thanks, Vashi. My pleasure.
Hi, I'm Vashi Capellos, host of Power in Politics. See more of our show by subscribing to the CBC News channel or click the link for another video.